Welcome to Elevate, the masterclass where we dissect the elements of exceptional achievement and lifestyle design with a focus on personal growth and real estate investing. Now, here's your host, Tyler Chesser.
Elevate Nation, welcome back. This is Tyler Chesser. I'm so thankful to have you here, and I'm blessed and grateful to be sitting with Coach Micheal Burt today. And let me just tell you, it's going to be a phenomenal show. It's going to be a phenomenal conversation because Coach Burt is going to bring the heat. He always does. That's who he is. That's what he's all about. And all I can say is today's going to change your life. So let it open your mind. Let's go. Let's dive in because we're going to have, an amazing conversation, but we're also going to dive into where is that Predrive within you? Where's the monster producer within you? Because Coach Burt is all about that. I'm all about that. And it's time to take it to another level. I want to ask you the question that I always ask. Are you ready to take it to another level? I want to welcome you back to the show where we sit down for mind-expanding conversations with influential authorities in real estate, as well as top experts in other industries and disciplines. And of course, Coach Burt is the expert in becoming a monster producer, in getting the best out of people and really taking it to the next level and beyond. So I know that you're going to get a ton of value from this today. This is for leaders, entrepreneurs, and real estate investors who have a burning desire for the extraordinary. It is our mission to identify and apply how the best of the best raise the bar personally and professionally to achieve greatness in real estate and beyond. We will distill the mindset, the habits, the systems, the routines, the tools, the strategies, the tactics, the coaching approach from an individual like Coach Micheal Burt, who has elevated to a life without limits, so that you can apply those same strategies, those same tactics, those same mindsets, those same tools to your own life, to your own business, to your own real estate portfolio, and so that you can have the impact that you were designed and destined to have. This is a masterclass for leaders and those looking to achieve uncommon results through personal growth, through real estate investing, other ventures, and most importantly and ultimately in their lives. Welcome back to Elevate again. I just want to thank you for being here. I want to welcome you back to the show. If this is your first time, I want to welcome you too. And I want to invite you to subscribe, to follow the show, because we are bringing the heat. And I'm telling you, this is all about transformation. Elevate is all about transformation. It's about transforming your beliefs. It's about transforming your habits. It's about transforming your actions. It's about transforming who you are as an individual, as a high performer, as a real estate investor, as a leader, as a creative individual who has no limits, right? Elevate is about elevating to a life without limits. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to congratulate you for being here. And I want to encourage you to subscribe, rate, and review. It's very important to us as we continue to bring the heat, as we continue to bring world-class guests like Coach Micheal Burt and so many others. And so it's very important to us. And also, it's a great way for you to pay it forward so that more people can find that there's more to life than just tolerating your life. There's more to life than just, I got to do it because I got to pay the bills and I got to run this rat race and I got to do the 9 to 5 because that's what I was told I have to do. But guess what? There's so much more out there for you. And, you can live a life of fulfillment by elevating your personal mastery, by elevating your real estate, by elevating your business, by elevating your circle, by elevating your mindset and all these things, right? So that's what this show is all about. And so if you have that abundance mentality, we invite you to subscribe, rate, and review. Pay it forward also by sharing with your colleagues, sharing with your friends, sharing with your spouses, and so on and so forth. Post it on social media, or send a text message. The fee that we ask is that you just send this to one person, share this with one person, let them know what your takeaways are, and let them know why you love Elevate. And so we love you. We're grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And also I want to let you know that if you want to go deeper, if you really want to get off that rat race, treadmill, if you want to get out of the suffering and, all this stuff where you're living a life that you're tolerating, which I've been there before, then just go visit elevatecoachingacademy.com, because we'd love to have the opportunity to help you transform your life, to help you transform not only from running that race, that rat race, but also elevating to a life without limits, where you have financial freedom, where you have time freedom, where you have the freedom to impact other people, where you have the freedom to be where you want to be, when you want to be there, where you have the freedom to develop some of the most world-class relationships in the world. We'd love to have the opportunity to pour into you and really give you an opportunity to transform. So go check out elevatecoachingacademy.com. And with that said, I want to dive into an amazing conversation with Coach Burt, who has a simple philosophy. Everybody needs a good coach in life. Those that have great coaches outperform those that don't 3 to 4x and out earn those that don't 3 to 4x. So how interesting is that, right? First off the bat, Burt is both intense and positive, and many like his authentic nature and pure coaching skills of packaging and delivering content in ways that get people to take action and get results. At the end of the day, taking action, you want results. Let's think about those outcomes. And Coach Burt is all about that. Coach Micheal Burt is considered America's coach, a unique blend of a former championship basketball coach combined with a deep methodology of inner engineering people to produce a higher level in the business world. Coach Burt found his unique voice early in life at the age of 15 by starting his basketball coaching career with a junior pro basketball team. The first time I heard Coach Burt speak was at Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con. I think it was like his second one in Las Vegas, Nevada. And let me tell you, he is a monster. He's a monster in terms of his energy, his approach, his velocity, all of these things. So just know today's going to be epic. And I know I say that a lot, but I'm telling you, today is going to be epic, and it might hit you right where it needs to hit you. So let it. And I want to welcome you. I want to open up the space for you to enjoy and to gain the massive value from this amazing conversation with the great Coach Micheal Burt. Micheal Burt, my friend, what's going on? How are you?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm at one of my favorite places in the world. I know this is talking about some real estate. I buy a lot of unique properties around the world.
Okay.
And I do coaching, retreats, events, and I have this beautiful 8,000 square foot lodge in Tennessee. It sits on 23 acres. And me and my team are working from here today. And I called my wife today and I'm like, can we just move here? like I know my house, my personal house is only like 20 minutes down the road. And then I got a condo in Nashville that I love. But man, every time I'm here at this lodge, I just love it. It is just so peaceful. My team loves it. And so I'm here today. So I'm happy, man. I'm in a good place.
That's awesome. And I would imagine there's obviously a strategy behind the real estate too, right? I mean, occupying that space, and I'm sure there's a cash flow and all this kind of stuff that you look at beyond just the business that you're running out of that. We could probably get into that if that makes sense.
Yeah. I do rent some of the properties that I own. And I rent this one specifically for events.
Mm-hmm.
And this one can generate, this is probably one of the best investments I've ever had. I bought this property for $1.3 million. I put $293,000 down in cash to purchase it. And in the first year, within the first 6 to 7 months, use the property to generate over $500,000 in new money. So, I use real estate sometimes different than other people do. I love coaching people in unique settings. Okay. And I run a coaching business. We have about 650 business owners that I coach and growing every single week. So that'll be 1,000 pretty soon. And then I offer boot camps, retreats, one-day events, because that's how I like coaching. So this morning I was coaching at 7:30 here with people. We had people online, and then I coach again this afternoon. And then we do country music nights here. I had Randy Hauser here last weekend. I had Rob O'Neill, the Navy SEAL that shot Osama bin Laden, here with me a few weeks ago. So, man, what I do is I use real estate to tie it to my coaching business to generate revenue, because that's what I call intentional congruence. That's where everything is feeding everything for me. And now I could rent this place, right, and get the Airbnb or the VRBO. I don't do that as much because I use it so much and I make so much more money off the coaching. But I partner with people who want to do events here. Some people come in and rent my lodge, and I come in and speak at it at their event. So, man, it's a great investment.
No, that's awesome. And you talked about intentional congruence. I'd also, potentially look at and say, hey, maybe there's some vertical integration we could also look at and say that that's what that is. But, I think it's interesting you talking about coaching in unique settings. And I'd love if we could just dive in a bit there. I mean, what's the theory behind coaching in unique settings, and what's the separator?
Many years ago, my grandfather used to take my whole family on cruises. We went to Alaska. We went to Hawaii, and it was his way of, he paid for everybody, and my whole family went, aunts, uncles, cousins, and it was his way of spending time with the whole family for a week. And so we go on these cool cruises to Alaska and Hawaii, and it's just beautiful. And I noticed when I was looking at the cruise outline that they had workshops on the cruise, and they were mostly financial workshops. It was really funny because it was financial advisors trying to sell old people into financial investments. And I would sneak in there in the back. I'd be like 25 years old, and I'm in the back, and I'm like, this is cool, man. They're actually trying to coach people on the cruise ship while we're cruising to Alaska, which is beautiful. And I had a revelation, and the revelation was that inspirational things typically happen in inspirational places, typically around other inspirational people. So I'm like, I'm going to do a cruise. So I had a cruise. I had my first cruise 10 to 15 years ago. 20 people signed up. One of them was 16 people from one company. The 16 people backed out, and it was me and 4 people. And they got a lot of special attention from me. Right? They wanted to hang out with me the whole cruise. And but I loved it. And I did a cruise last year with like 100 people on it. And so these events that I do here at my lodge typically are 50 to 150 people. Mm-hmm. And it's just an inspiring place. What it does is it puts the mind in a relaxed state so the neocortex can get involved, so they can process information and have big breakthroughs. That doesn't happen when you're in the current of the urgent. That doesn't happen when you're stressed out and maxed out and pressured. So I just noticed with my team today how relaxed they are, how much more in sales we're having today, because, you know, they don't feel pressure from being in an office. They're out of this beautiful lodge. Their mindset is different. It's tranquil. It's beautiful. You know, I was in Scottsdale last week. How could you be depressed in Scottsdale, man? Especially this time of year. I was in West Palm this past weekend doing a retreat for my tycoon package. How could you be depressed in West Palm when it's 75 degrees and sunshine and, you know, $1 million yachts there? I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
So environments matter is what I'm saying. And real estate provides these cool environments for you to do things. And for me, because I'm a coach, that's the way I like to use real estate, to get people in these environments.
That's a great soundbite. Environments matter. I'd never heard that phrase before, but it obviously makes a ton of sense. And thinking about how can we tap into the greatest capacity of other people, let's use some of these things to our advantage and to their advantage so that we can truly transform, right? So that we can truly tap into what is that inner greatness within us. But I'd like to take a step back, Micheal. What really inspires you about coaching, and what was there a moment in your background or your history that caused you to say, hey, I am a coach. I should be a coach? What would you say to that? At
15 years old, I got a phone call from a Little League baseball coach who was coaching junior pro basketball. And he said, I don't know anything about basketball, but they've taught me into coaching this team. Will you help me coach this team? I was a point guard on the basketball team. I was always a thinker. I was always very analytical. My high school coach called me professor. I had a speaking coach when I was 15. I went around the world and spoke to conferences when I was 15 years old as part of a role I had in high school. And so I'm kind of coaching and speaking and coaching, and right, even at a young age. Mm-hmm. So at 15 years old, 2 things happened, 2 big revelations. One, I had this big revelation when I started coaching those kids that I loved it. I'm like, man, I love this. I was meant to do this. The second one is, as I went around the world speaking, and some of these events were 6,000 people, I said, man, I love this. It wasn't quite coaching yet like I do today. Like I coach companies. Like I was just coaching a $2 billion mortgage company before I got on here with you. I've been coaching people all day in different industries. Last night I was coaching 800 health coaches. Like I do a lot of coaching now where it's ongoing, systematic movement. Okay. But I was turned on to this really about 15 years old when I knew like I'm supposed to be coaching. And I like the speaking. So who would know at 44 years old, man, that's what I do for a living. I coach and I speak and I write books, and that's the life I have.
Yeah, no, and your passion is absolutely kind of exuding from just who you are, which I just appreciate. And one of your philosophies is that people who have a coach outperform those who do not 3 to 4 times. So could you expand upon that thought?
With a coach in your life, unless the coach is just terrible, and there are a lot of bad coaches out there.
Sure.
There's no way, in my opinion, that you can't perform at a higher frequency. Okay. Because the coach is bringing you strategy. The coach is reactivating your Predrive. The coach is helping you find missing structures. Like coaching is engaging people in a set of behaviors, systematic behaviors over a period of time that allows them to do something tomorrow they can't do today. So I could give you examples of people I've coached that have improved 1,500% since I've been coaching them. I could show you, people that I coached last night that were closing deals today as a result of the coaching, of how I taught them how to explain their services. I was coaching people, managers, just a minute ago, and I could tell by doing the coaching call that they are not even thinking about coaching people. So there's no way they can't get better if they get structured coaching. And I'm a very structured person. I come from the athletic arena where we had structure and systems and process. So when I got into the business world, I'm like, man, this is crazy. There's confusion and there's no structure and there's no philosophy and there's no growth. So if we just added a coach, my first assignment, I retired at 31 years old, Tyler, from athletic coaching. And I won a championship, built a national championship program. That school went on to win seven of the next 9 championships. And so I built this powerhouse. I retire from athletic coaching. I start a speaking and coaching company. The first group to hire me was a bank. And they said, we want you to come in and take these 500 people from 38 locations, and we want you to drive this big increase. We want you to open 10,000 new checking accounts. And I said, well, how many have you opened before? And they said 6,500. But we lost 4,500 of those out the back door. So we bring them in, but we don't have any retention. And they said, here's your people. They gave me 2 little assistants. And it took me right to December 11th of that year, I drove a 43% increase in sales. We did 10,645 new accounts. Okay. Now, what's the purpose of what did I do? I just came in and coached the people they had. Here's the deal. It was during the recession of 08, 09. They would not let me fire anybody. So they said, you can't come in and tell us we got the wrong people. You got to take the people we have and make them better. I said, okay. So I devised a strategy. We added heavy coaching. And what happened? We got a 43% increase. I asked the CEO the other day how much money they made off bringing me in as their coach. And he said probably 20 to 30 million.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Over the course of the last 10 years. He said the first year you helped us make at least 2 to 4 additional $1 million. And they only paid me $150,000 that year to be their coach. So that was a good bet. $150,000 in me, $2.5 million. But over the lifetime of what I put in and the structures I put in, he said they probably made $20 million more dollars. So was that a good investment? $150,000 for $20 million.
It was okay. It was okay.
This is the power of a coach, though, Tyler. This is the point I'm trying to make to people. I was selling a guy today on a $25,000 coaching package, and I'm trying to help him be a coach. And I'm like, look, man, $2,000. I know it seems like a lot of money to you. It's going to be nothing when the first event I help you get up and get going could make 20 or 30 or 40,000, and you made all your investment back in the first thing I teach you. Right. So let's say we do that 12 straight months and you make 240,000 back. Would you care? Do you care at all about giving me 25 of it if you make 240? And he's like, well, no. And I'm like, well, I'm going to send the contract over, man. Sign the contract so I can help you.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take a brief time out from this show, this incredibly mind expanding discussion, to speak to the high achievers, the high performers. I wanted to speak to those who have a burning desire to go to the next level and beyond. First of all, I hear you and I see you. When I got started as a real estate entrepreneur, fresh out of my W-2 corporate job, I was excited and jubilant to create and design my future. At the same time, my business and life was filled with confusion, filled with fear, doubt, uncertainty, and to be honest with you, sometimes even sleepless nights and hopelessness, even while experiencing what many would have considered substantial success. Ultimately, I mustered up the courage to hire one of the world's top high-performance business coaches to work directly with me on creating strategies, systems, and profound shifts towards accelerating my multifaceted performance and to become an industry leader. After years of investing significant resources into myself and in my business through this process, I am now paying it forward as a high-performance coach to those who feel called to elevate to the extraordinary. Wherever you are right now, you know deep down that you have it within you to be great. If you're someone who's seriously looking to elevate your business, your real estate portfolio, your cash flow, your deal flow, your network, your net worth, your lifestyle, and ultimately your life right now and ongoing for the rest of your life, I have a message for you. Because if that's you, then I invite you to visit coachwithtyler.com. I have limited coaching spots available to guide people like you who want to substantially close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. These are first come, first serve, and demand high touch, one-to-one focus from me directly to you. And this is not for everyone. This is only for those who are decisive, committed, and willing to do whatever it takes. It's only for those willing to play full out and invest time, energy, and resources into themselves to achieve greatness in real estate investing and beyond, which is what we're all about on this podcast. This is for those defiantly inspired for transforming as an empowered, limitless, and unstoppable human being in full control of their and their business's future. If that is you, I invite you to visit coachwithtyler.com. Again, that's coachwithtyler.com, where you can apply for this life-changing opportunity. We will then schedule a discovery session where we will directly discuss what's working, not working, and how we can work together to accelerate your future. With that said, enjoy the rest of the show. Closer, baby. I like it. Well, it's interesting because, my philosophy is the best investment you can make is always in yourself, right? And that's what coaching is all about. And that's what's been the separator for me in the last 8 years of my real estate career. While transitioning from a corporate employee into entrepreneur, it's a tough transition. And I think, and what I've seen is that the highest performers all have coaches, right? Which is why I've become a coach myself too. It's so interesting because now as I coach others, I grow as much or more as they do. And there's so much abundance available. And so, you're talking about activating that Predrive, which I find to be so fascinating. And it's so interesting because we have all these things within us. So talk to me a little bit about activating that Predrive. What exactly do you mean by that? And how do you go about doing that?
So Predrive is prevalent in animals. Okay. And I first came across this concept in a workshop, and a gentleman was talking about the Predrive of a dog. He was referring to it in loose terms. And it caught my attention because I looked it up, and it says Predrive is an animal's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. That is a Predrive. I'm sitting there in that workshop and I'm going, I told my wife who was with me that day, I'm like, that's it. That's my next book, because I've written 16 books. This is book number 17. And I'm like, that's what I've been doing my whole life. I have been activating this drive in people since I was 15 years old. That's 28 years, Tyler, that I've been doing this, man. First as a championship women's basketball coach, now as a coach of some of the top people in the world. I'm like, what I really do for people and what I have been doing, now I have a name for it. And so I became fascinated with the concept. And when I become fascinated with the concept, I deconstruct it. I codify it, right? I break it down. I synthesize it. And so I began studying the top 20 motivational theories. I began deconstructing those theories. I began drawing a correlation between motivation and drive and Predrive in an animal and in a human. And then I began speaking about it. And I have positioned myself as the leading authority in the world on activating that drive in humans. What I was really doing in that manager call a minute ago was activating that drive in a person. And so I believe there's components of Predrive and there's drivers of Predrive. And so the book that I'm writing right now, Through McGraw-Hill, you'll see it in all the bookstores, airports in February of 2022, is the science and the psychology, not quantitatively, qualitatively. What I have seen for 28 years of coaching people in activating this drive in people, that is Predrive. It is an instinct to see something with the eyes or in the mind and have the persistence and intensity to pursue it. Okay. And if you can activate that in a person, then boom, it's over, because now they are pursuing something, and that drive is activated and reactivated by the pursuit. It's not capturing it. That's the beauty of Predrive, man. That's what I try to get people to say. I'm not motivated. I mean, I like nice things. I'm motivated by, I do like the real estate I own.
Sure.
I like the jet that I have. I like all those things. Okay. But it's not really what cranks my engine. What cranks my engine is setting something, doing something big in the world, not doing something small. Like I was reading about Steve Jobs again. I just happened to pick up the Jobs book, and it says in there that he was really minimalistic Like he was wealthy, but it didn't really faze him. Like he didn't want wealth. Like he didn't have furniture in his house. He didn't want to be wealthy to be rich. He had a Predrive to all other people, and for other people to say, gosh, this dude is a genius. Now, does it have to do with the psychology of being adopted, the psychology deep into his DNA somewhere? Maybe. But the point is, he was really motivated by creating something. Right? I'm motivated by doing something big, creating something, not just the money that comes along with it. That's nice. That's a nice perk, but it's not the primary motivator for me.
No, that really resonates with me. And actually, I will tell you that, the little hair that I have on my body is standing up on the back of my neck because you're really speaking directly to me, because I'm like you. I don't care about that stuff. I really don't care about the material stuff, while it is great. And I think you're really resonating with a lot of the listeners too, because I think we all know that we're designed to go big. In fact, Stephen Kotler, who we just had on the podcast recently, said that we literally are designed to go big. From a biological standpoint, evolutional standpoint, we're designed to go big. And so I think you're speaking to the heart of what we're all about. And that's what I love about this. But let's talk about that when talk about activating that Predrive, because I'm sure it's different. Maybe you tell me, but it's probably different between each different type of individual. But how would you go about activating that? Is it a fact-finding process first and then we dive in? You tell me.
It's a process of awareness, of understanding what activates it. I believe that there are 5 activators, and I'm reading The Art of the Impossible. So there's a chapter. There's a chapter in that book that somebody sent me, the book. I didn't buy it. Somebody sent it to me and they said, man, I know you're writing a book on Predrive, and the first chapter is about drive.
Yes.
And so there's some great meat in there about what he observed about the biology versus the personality piece, is that it is hardwired in you. Now, what's hard, as you know, is to replicate that. And that's really what he's teaching in that book, right? Is the replication of doing the art of the impossible, that there's 4 things, right? And he gets into flow, and he gets into motivation and drive and creativity and flow and all those things. And what he's saying is people that do big things, right? Their Predrive was activated somewhere, and then they pursued it, and then they kind of mastered it, and then they got into this flow state through the pursuit of something. And when they get into that flow state, it's when it's like, boom, wow, that's incredible. Like, how did you do that? Well, he's codifying and deconstructing that concept, which is what I do. And so to me, Predrive is activated. There's a lot of ways to activate it, but I have 5 primary activators I'm talking about in the book. Okay. One is fear of loss. Fear of losing something will activate some people's Predrive. Now, it'll go the other way for other people, right? Some people, when they get scared, they shut down. Some people, when they get scared, they fight or flight, right? With me, fear of losing prestige, respect. For some people, affirmation, which is why rejection is so important. Fear of losing money, lifestyle, power. Fear of losing something will motivate some people. That is an activator for some people. It's actually one of my motivators. I was a basketball coach, came from nothing, have a great life now. Love the life I have. I don't want to lose it, man. So I get up every day. I get up every day and make sales calls and push and set big targets because I don't want to lose what I got. So that is an activator. Number 2, competition is an activator of Predrive. A game to play, something to win, a fight to be in, right? And this is weird because what COVID became for me, because people watched me from March until December of last year, and they're like, man, what happened to you? Like, you went to a freakish level that even people on my team's like, man, I've never seen you with this kind of intensity. And it was because in March of this year, my team was freaking out. They were used to being on the road. I speak a lot around the country. We're flying around the world on private jets and living a great life. And it was fun. Then my team went through depression, man. 2 or 3 of my people literally went through depression. So we're doing Zooms every day and we can't figure out, okay, now our speaking income's gone away. Now that's how I drive leads, is speaking a lot. Now I can't speak. Now we're trying to figure it out. Now everybody's freaking out. And when a lot of people got depressed, I got motivated. And it was like a competition. It's like, now I have an adversary, man. And this adversary is getting in the way of me doing what I'm supposed to do, right? And it's some kind of screwed up psychological play, but COVID was an adversary for me. It was impeding me from getting where I'm trying to go. And damn it, that ain't happening. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I found another gear. I'm like, that's fine. I started a publishing division during COVID that will probably do $1 million in the first year. I took ownership in a marketing company that is ridiculously crushing it. There's all kinds of things that I did to say, man, I'm going to hit my financial targets. I don't care what I got to do. This now I'm creative. Now this competition has made me creative, and that's a good thing. And so I kind of got in that flow state. So 2, competition is an activator. Number 3, environment is an activator. See, when I go into a company, I want you to think of it like this. What I'm trying to do is teach the managers how to create a high Predrive environment where right, like expectation. Imagine playing with Michael Jordan every day. And you show up 15 minutes early to practice. And Jordan says, man, you ain't early. 3 hours is early to practice. Like, what's wrong with you? Like Jordan, it seemed like when you watch The Last Dance, it's kind of like a bully, but he's really not. He has an expectation. There is an environment. You are stepping into an environment, and that environment forces you to play better. I owned a gym for a period of time. I was an investor in a gym during COVID, right? Like, that was real smart. And here's the deal, though. I loved it because, man, it was 45 minutes of intense workout. When I didn't, no matter how I felt when I got there, when I left, man, I felt like $1 million.
I love that.
That is environment. So you can create an environment where a person's Predrive is activated. Now, I like being here at the lodge. People are in a relaxed state. We're making sales. It's a lot of creativity. It's a creative environment. But I need some environments where there's pressure, and some environments where it's on, man. And we got to hit this. Okay. So that is an activator Predrive. Then you've got exposure to something, like you spending time with Stephen on his book, The Art of Impossible, exposed you to that way of thinking. Maybe it opened your eyes to something, right? That is an activator Predrive, seeing something that changes you, that opens your eyes to something bigger. Then you've got embarrassment is an activator of Predrive. Not like, it could be. I had a guy tell me, he called me once, it was in my coaching program, and he said, man, I'm so embarrassed. He's like, I'm living out of my car. I can't sell anything. I look awful. And I'm like, man, you ain't embarrassed enough. Because if you was embarrassed enough, you are capable of going out and selling more to quit living in your car and to get yourself in shape. Said, you ain't embarrassed. You're mildly inconvenienced, but you're not embarrassed, because when you get embarrassed enough, you will change. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You will make an adjustment. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeing your peers outperform you over and over, you will make a change. That right? Like I'm telling you, when I used to lose basketball games, Tyler, I would stay up all night, walk the floors, bring my team in at 4:30 in the morning. Like, I hated losing more than I liked winning. Now, here's the deal. I look back on that, and many times it was driven by embarrassment. It was like, we worked that hard and then got beat like that. I'm embarrassed. Like, this ain't happening again. I'm going to come in. We're going to practice. We're never doing this again. Right? Like, it's going to be enough embarrassment that we're never going back to that. And I'm okay with that. So I'm kind of a real intense person, but I'm a positive person. So I'm intense and positive. So what I'm trying to do when I'm coaching a person is find that activator, that drive, man, so that I can hit that button, flip that switch. That's the title of the book, Flip the Switch.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to dive into it. But thank you for sharing that, because, being aware of these activators will allow us to understand how to pull those levers in our own environment, or our own life, or perhaps surround ourselves with other people like yourself, a coach, to activate that Predrive. So when we think about the Predrive, is it just the defiant commitment to doing whatever it takes and really stepping up to the plate and using your talents, your God-given abilities to the highest degree? Or is there anything else that you would describe in terms of what that Predrive really is?
Yeah. What I'm finding, though, is it's prevalent in everything. It is prevalent in initiating conversation. It is prevalent in asking for business. It's prevalent in having a killer instinct to go for the deal. It's prevalent in having a thought and turning it into action. It's prevalent in following up on opportunity. It's prevalent in asking for referrals. It's prevalent in getting up and going and looking at real estate properties. It's prevalent. Like in seeing, like when I walked in this lodge that I'm in right now, here's a good example. I walked in, it's got this huge, huge foyer. And I looked at the real estate agent and I said, I'll take it. Draw it up. You know what she said? Don't you want to see the rest of it? And I'm like, no, I don't. She said, I bet 50 people have looked at this property and every one of them were scared to death to buy it because they couldn't see themselves using it as a personal house. I said, I'm not using it as my personal house. I'm going to use it to make money. And if I can't make my 1.3 million back, then something's bad wrong with me because this is beautiful. And that's Predrive.
Yeah.
Right. Instinct is like, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've been studying WeWorks because one of my concepts is greatness factories, and I'm building greatness factories around the country. We've got interest in London, Houston. I've got one in Nashville right now, Miami. These are unique real estate locations that people come to. All the great people come to. They can work, grow, connect. Right. There's training for auditorium, podcast studios, shared space, office space. It's a hub of energy. And so I've been studying WeWork because WeWork went out into the marketplace and became big. Like in Nashville, in one building, they have 72,000 square foot in Nashville.
Yep.
In one building. And so I've been studying that. And the reason they grew is because one investor gave them $4 billion. And he made a decision in less than 28 minutes to give Newman $4 billion. And he said, there was something about him I sensed, like a dog smell. That's his exact words.
Wow.
Guess what? That's Predrive, man. In 28 minutes, the dude gave him $4 billion. Why? Not because he didn't even look at the numbers. He's like, I sense something about you. You can do this, right? Boom, $4 billion. That's Predrive.
That's amazing. And, I think that the beautiful thing about this is that every single person listening has what it takes to activate this. And it's about that intuition. It's about understanding that, of course, your mind is going to tell you, well, hey, fear of loss, like all the things you just described. What if I lose this competition? What if I get embarrassed? But maybe let's use that to our advantage. I don't know if that resonates with you, Michael, but one thing I think about it in terms of fear is instead of letting fear wrestle us to the ground, we can dance with it and let it catapult us in our future. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely, man. Most coaches tell you not to live in the past. All right. Here's what I would tell you. All the best raw material you need to do something big is in your past. It is I'm actually paying you for your past. See, if I paid you to coach me on real estate, then I'm actually paying you for everything you've ever learned, every mistake you've ever made, every experience you've ever had, every breakdown you've ever experienced. Your past helps me build my future. And that's why the past is so critical. It's finite. It's fixed. It's already happened. You can't change it. If we can't change it, use it. Leverage it. Utilize it for good, man. No matter good or bad. That's what the past is there for. It is raw material for bigger futures.
Hey guys, just a quick word from our sponsor and we'll be right back to the show. This episode of Elevate is brought to you by CF Capital, and you know how much I love real estate and how it can be a vehicle towards creating any outcome that you want in your life, which is really why we created CF Capital. It's a real estate investment firm that focuses on acquiring and operating multifamily assets that provide stable cash flow, capital appreciation, and a margin of safety for our investors, for our partners, and for the people that we serve. Our team leverages its expertise in acquisitions and management to provide investors like you with superior risk-adjusted returns while placing a premium on preserving capital. Our mission is to provide property investment and asset management solutions to help investors maximize their returns by investing in high-value multifamily communities. Our philosophy is that we can elevate communities together through this process. And I want to invite you to go check out cfcapllc.com because we have a free ebook that's called The Bottom Line, the 10 ways to increase cash flow in an apartment complex. And I want to tell you that this is a value-packed ebook. So I want to invite you to go check that out right now at cfcapllc.com. I think you're going to get a ton of value just from reading this, whether you apply it to your own business or whether you educate yourself further on what it would look like if you invested with CF Capital. So go check that out at cfcapllc.com. Again, that's cfcapllc.com, and enjoy the rest of the show. Why is it important for you to coach the whole person? That's one thing that I'm really passionate about as well, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
What good is it to have knowledge with no desire? What good is it to have skill with no confidence? What good is it to have confidence with no skill? That would be arrogance. Now, let me tell you the real reason is because I was scripted and mentored by Dr. Stephen Covey.
Okay.
And from 18 to 25, that is the person that influenced me the most. And he taught a theory called the whole person theory. The body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. People are made up of 4 parts. A body, which is physical, that represents skill, discipline, economics. The mind, which is mental, represents knowledge, IQ, right? Intelligence. The heart, which is emotional, which represents passion, drive, predrive, energy. The spirit, which represents spiritual, confidence, faith, belief. And he asserted that we could not have a conversation about your potential, which is kinetic energy that is stored until utilized, until we talked about the whole person. Okay. And I think I 100% agree. I'm like, this is it, man. Because if you're out of whack in the body, you don't feel good about your confidence. If you don't have good knowledge or desire, you don't feel good about your confidence, right? You need all 4 parts manifesting at a very high level. You need to feed all 4 parts. And that really separates me from lots of coaches. There's lots of sales trainers that teach you sales skills. That's just the body and the mind. That has nothing to do many times with the heart or the spirit. And because of my understanding of the whole person, I have a deep personal growth side to me that many people resonate with. That's not all about selling something. Selling is a byproduct of high degrees of confidence and certainty. And that comes from feeding the whole person. Okay. And that's why I'm so big on coaching the whole person, the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit.
That's exactly why Elevate is all about personal professional mastery and real estate investing. Because if you don't get that first stuff right, if you don't get the body, the mind, the heart, the soul, the spirit right, you can't do anything. You can't build a fulfilling life. No matter how much money you make, you can't build a fulfilling life. So I think that's so powerful. Are those equal percentage in terms of, hey, the importance, body, mind, heart, and spirit? I mean, we're talking 25% each. Is there anything else you'd say?
I'm a faith-based person, so I think spiritual intelligence, it drives all other intelligences, but they're all important. You can't, Covey used to say success in one role doesn't justify failure in another role. Mm-hmm. When you're out of alignment in a dimension of your life, it will affect your potential. It will affect your drive. It will affect your psyche. So every day I try to build all 4 parts of my nature daily.
That's so good. That's so good. What's the biggest way that you invest in yourself these days? Because obviously as a coach, you've got to continue to grow. You've got to grow at a faster pace maybe than many of the people that you work with. So what's the biggest way that you're really investing in yourself right now?
Well, let's go to the whole person theory. And what I do is I invest a considerable amount in my health. I go to one of the top energy doctors in the world. My wife and I invest about $20,000 a year in nothing but vitamins that are customized to our body for our own deficiencies. So I have lots of energy, which is directly tied to Predrive. So I don't mess around with my health. I go to high-end concierge doctors that believe in getting you on a path to health and wellness minus the use of pharmaceutical drugs. I also have a certain nutrition plan. I treat myself more like an athlete that is trying to perform at a very high level. So that's the body. Mentally, I train every day in reading, studying, learning, workshops, coaches, people coaching me. Emotionally, I sharpen my saw try to be the best dad I can be. I have 2 kids, an 8-month-old and an 8-year-old. I have a beautiful wife, and I try to be a great dad, a great husband, and that's emotional. And then spiritual, that's my faith. And I feed my faith. I start every day off with a sermon. I end every day with a sermon. I wrote a book called The Accountable Church, which is how churches can keep people engaged. And it's a very tough thing for churches to do in today's world.
Sure.
So to me, what I do to elevate my life is to go to work on me, the structure of Coach Burt, and how do I self-actualize? Because the higher I get in my potential, the more I'm going to be able to give away to my people that I coach out there in the world. Because if I can't get myself there, and I see a lot of this, it's like going to you don't go to a broke financial advisor or an out of shape doctor or, a coach that's not producing. You go to people who are performing, and hopefully through things like this and being on shows like yours, I attract people into my life that go, that's the right guy for me. We believe the same things. He's an expert at what he does. He can help me. That's really that's how I want to sell, which is to go out to the world and be good.
Yeah.
And people go, that's a guy I want to do something with. Okay. That's my ideal scenario.
And I resonate with that so much because you bring such a great vibe with you. And it is truly a giving vibe. It's a, hey, I'm trying to do the right thing and you are doing the right thing. So I just appreciate that about you. I want to honor you for that. And man, Coach Burt, you have been so generous with your time today. I really appreciate you. I want to transition into our rapid fire section. I've just got a few more questions for you, but it's called the Rare Air Questionnaire, by the way. This is about being rare. This is about making rare decisions. This is about activating the Predrive and becoming and stepping into greater versions of the best, because, by the way, we all have that within us, right? So let's talk about a few things. One thing I'd love to know, as an author yourself, as a learner, as somebody who's perpetual, putting new inputs into your mind, if you were to point to 2 or 3 of the most impactful books that you've read over the past few years, what would those be and why?
Easily, a book that changed my life was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The book I'm reading right now, We Work $1 Billion Loser, was valuable because it's teaching you how to raise capital and go out and grow, right? And I think about books I go back and reread over and over and over that can always help a person. I mean, I think people have studied all the Think and Grow Rich, all of the great books that are out there, right? But what impacted me was going deep on one guy, right? And that guy was Covey, and that was my guy for 8 years. And then, I have to give credit where credit is due. I was not a good marketer or promoter, and Cardone really helped me in that area because he mentored me for a season of my life from 2012 to 2018. We were doing events together, and what I really learned was how to market and promote. And I had to get better at that area.
I love that. And just the humility of saying, hey, look, we've got room to improve here, right? So let's go and learn it. And it's almost at the basis of all learning is humility. We've got an opportunity to get better. So I admire that a lot about you. But I know we just talked a little bit about this in terms of how you're investing in yourself, but is there anything else that you would say in terms of the biggest way that you elevate your life on a daily basis?
Who I associate with. I think I'm at a point in my life where I spend time. I just did an event with Sharon Lecter that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad with Kiyosaki this past weekend. I talked to my buddy Brad Lee almost weekly. I have a good group of really high caliber people that I associate with that expand my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think like gravitate toward like. I think association breeds assimilation. I think there's people out there in the world that are good on stage, and then there's people that are actually good people, and they're good on stage.
That's a great combination right there. No, I couldn't agree more. And it's been awesome to be able to associate with you and to have our audience be able to associate with you and kind of get into your mind, get into that world of the monster coach who gets some monster producers. And so one final question for you before we wrap up today. What's the biggest way that you elevate others around you? My energy. I think when always bring something to the equation. For me, it comes across as energy. What it really is a deep conviction. And I had a revelation very early in life, as I told you, about coaching and the power of a coach in your life. I spent the last 28 years of my life doing nothing but coaching, man. I can't cook. I'm geographically illiterate. I can't fix a car. There's so many things I'm so bad at. But the good Lord gave me the gift of coaching people and helping activate a drive, that Predrive in a person. And so what I bring is a conviction and an energy and a methodology that helps elevate other people's lives. And it's not random. It's not pop-up psychology or cotton candy. It's real. Because of who I was coached by, it's real methodology that can really move the needle if I can just get you in there and get you going. And you cannot replace conviction and the level of energy that brings to you. And just by doing the right thing, just being who you are, being in congruence with who you are. So Coach Micheal Burt, my goodness, you just dropped some bombs on us today. Are there any parting thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd share with Elevate Nation today? No, go out, man. You were, I agree with Stephen on this, and you need to pick up his book because that was incredible. That's incredible that I'm reading right now. Yeah. You were hardwired to elevate your life. You are actually suppressing that Predrive when you operate at a nominal
level, an ordinary, average, complacent level, you're actually suppressing. My 8-month-old son is to the point where, man, he wants to get involved in everything, right? He's interested in everything. So it's like, you can't keep him still. You can't keep him there. It's like, I want this and that and this and whatever. And I love it, man, because that is Predrive. Okay. Where did that come from? It was hardwired into him. And then somebody's going to tell him, no, don't do it. No, you're not good enough. No, don't pursue it. Oh, it won't work. Oh, then it's going to be kind of beat out of him in his life. And I was telling my wife the other day, because our daughter is such a strong-willed person. I said, man, I don't want to beat the Predrive out of her. I don't want the world to knock that out of her. I know she's strong-willed. I know she can be hard to manage. I know she can be difficult with her personality, but she's going to turn out to be something big in the world. I'm telling you. So let's be careful about suppressing that drive in her. That's what I would tell the Elevate Nation.
You are hardwired to elevate your life. You are hardwired to elevate to a life without limits. My goodness, Coach Micheal Burt, man, I just thank you so much. I look forward to conversation number 2, part 2. I look forward to seeing everything that you do, everything that your children do, and all the people that you continue to impact in the world, what they do with all of the greatness that you are gracing us all with. So I just appreciate you. Tell Elevate Nation the best place for them to learn more about you and what you do.
Yeah, go to coachburt.com. Right. You can see my boot camps. You can get coached by me. Go to my YouTube channel, Coach Micheal Burt. I put out hundreds of videos. Follow me on Instagram at Micheal Burt. Cranking up on Clubhouse, but I got to get going, man. I gotta get involved a little bit more. It pains me to sit there for so long. I'm like, man, I gotta go. Got to do something here. We're gonna talk about something. Okay. So that's what I would tell you.
That's so funny. Me too. I gotta get up on Clubhouse too. But my man, we're gonna put links in the show notes on where everybody can find you. But I just appreciate you taking time today. Appreciate you being here, and I look forward to part 2. Like I said.
All right, man. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
You bet, my friend. Oh my goodness, Elevate Nation, are you on pins and needles right now? Because I think I am. I don't know what I'm on, but I think, guess what? The story continues to be the same. The story continues to develop in that, look, we are meant to go big. We are meant to elevate to a life without limits. So don't leave any of that on the table. I don't care how scared you are about it. I don't care how worried you are. I don't care how, nervous you are or embarrassed you are about where you're at. Use that to your advantage. And Coach Micheal Burt is really showing us the exact way to do that and how to really make that happen. So I just want to encourage you to follow up and engage with Coach Micheal Burt and his team, learn more about what he's doing, because he is providing outstanding value in the world. And you have the opportunity to step up and become the next greatest version of yourself as well. So I want to encourage you to re-listen to the show. There's so much value here. I want to encourage you to distill it down to what are your top 3 key distinctions, because at the end of the day, it's about not only understanding, identifying, and applying what it takes to go to the next level, what it takes to take your real estate business to the next level, what it takes to take your real relationships to the next level, what it takes to take your fitness to the next level, what it takes to take all of these things, your money, all of these things, take your life to the next level, elevate your life, expand your horizons by everything we're talking about today. So I'm just so grateful to have had the opportunity to bring this conversation to you. Of course, at the end of the day, it's about not only sharing with your network, sharing with people you care about, sharing people you work with, letting them know, hey, here's what I got from this discussion, but also it's about applying immediately. It's about taking massive action. So until next time, Elevate Nation, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Elevate. If you enjoy this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to elevate your results by taking immediate action on what you learned. For more, visit elevatepod.com.